I've been thinking of a concept lately. It's called minimum viable goals. And these are goals that you set so low, like the last video I mentioned about setting the bar low so that you can succeed. You set the goal so low that you feel silly or stupid not even going after that goal because it's so easy. And then you use that to help you build momentum towards the bigger goal you're trying to achieve. So let me give you an example. Today, I decided to make my first candle. I've never made a candle before, and I just saw a lot of videos online talking about candles and the candle making business. Now I thought, ooh, I could make candles and have that go as a side hustle. I've seen many people do it and be successful in it, so why not? And probably be better than doing the t-shirt business that everyone seems to be going into, right? So I thought I'd try it out. Now, the littlest goal I could get in order to get myself doing that was buying a candle making kit, because at least with that, I don't need to think too hard about all the different pieces I need to piece together in order to make the candle. I can just buy a kit that would help me do that. Let me show you the kit I bought. Right, here's the kit I bought. Yeah, it's this. I'll show an unboxing video later, and I'll link that in the description. But basically, it's a kit for adults for making candles. And with this kit, it had pretty much everything I need in order to get started. It had a mixing can, it had the wax, it had even the dye for the candle to give it a different color. It had the wicks, it had the stickers I needed, basically everything I needed to get started. So that was the first thing. I just made sure I bought the kit. Then the next step was for me to set myself a timer and say, okay, you know what? Just start making the candle. Don't worry too much about whether you understand it fully or not. There are instructions in the box. So just follow the instructions. And that's what I did. I took about an hour apart from my day and just decided, you know what? I'm going to just sit down and try and get this done. And it was actually a fun process. And then I did that and I finished it. And today I can now say proudly that I have a candle that I have made by myself. Let me show it to you. Hold on. So here is my candle. It's got a vanilla scent. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it clearly on the screen, but that's it right there with this little wick and in a nice simple container. Now, this is pretty cool, right? It's a generic vanilla smelling candle. But the beautiful thing about this is my big goal was to get started on the candle business. I've done my first minimum viable goal, which is actually making sure that I can make candles. And here you go. I have evidence of it here. Now, the next step would be to think, okay, what's the next minimum viable goal in order to get to the point of turning this into a candle business, right? A business selling candles. Well, people need to know about my business, right? So what I could do is look online and maybe open up a store on a site like Etsy, for example. And the minimum viable goal with that is literally to create an account on Etsy. That's the first minimum viable goal on that. Once I do that, the next step would then be to list my product on there. And in order to list the product, I can put some descriptions, and then I need to take a few pictures and put it up for sale and see what other people are doing. But minimum viable goal for that, the next step would literally be to create the Etsy account and then create a description and then put it up for sale and see what happens. To list an item on Etsy for sale doesn't cost too much. I think it costs maybe just under $1 or even less than that, maybe like 30 cents or something. And then I just try that out and see how it goes. And if I sell it, great. If I don't, at least now I know how to put things up. And then I can also look at other people who've sold candles online and figure out what they did differently. But having said that, who knows? It could be the start of something great, or it could just be the start of me learning how to sell physical products. And I could move on to the next thing if this doesn't really work. But we'll see. If my goal was to start a candle making business, I'm well on my way. And that's the thing with minimum viable goals. You've got to realize that you've got to start small just to help you build momentum. And with each level of achievement you get with each minimum viable goal that you have, the more you feel like you are able to actually do the next step and the next step and the next step until you reach your final destination. Now, why is it important to set minimum viable goals? Well, they help you deal with three things that could be hindering you from actually achieving the bigger goal. They are the fear of failure, a lack of clarity, and loss of interest. Let me go into each of them. So fear of failure. A lot of times we fear that the goal that we want to achieve is so big and we're afraid of what people might think. We're afraid of not succeeding in it. We're afraid of maybe the shame that might come from starting something and not quite finishing it. But because you set a goal that's so small and so easily achievable, you can just get started and not be afraid of failing. Then the next is it deals with your lack of clarity. By sitting down and defining the specific outcome you want from that small minimum viable goal, or MVG, you can focus your attention and energy on the most important thing, the most important relevant tasks or steps, and take those steps before you then focus on the next step that you need to do. So it just helps you create clarity on what the steps are you need to take to get to your bigger goal. Then there's the loss of interest. If you have a big goal you're trying to achieve and it seems so big, you could sometimes lose interest in going for that goal just because of the enormity of it. However, if you decide to go for the minimum viable goals, then what you can do is that you can increase your engagement because you're just focusing on one small area that won't take as big or as much time for you to achieve. But you can focus on that little area and just keep progressing that way. And then you can also discover opportunities and possibilities that you might not have considered before. So that's something to think about. Okay, so I told you about the minimum viable goal I had of starting a candle making business, but let me give you some tips or some steps that you can take in order to start creating your own minimum viable goals. I'm going to give you 6 steps. So the first step is identifying your ultimate goal. So think about, okay, that big picture. What is the big picture? What is the thing you're aiming towards? Now, for some people that works, and it could be a final outcome or a process goal. So your final outcome may be to have a business where you sell products online, like I'm doing. Or it could be that you enjoy the process of creating and putting things. Let's say, for example, you want to start a YouTube channel. You may say, okay, your big goal would be to be monetized on YouTube. So have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in order to get monetized. Okay, so if that is your big goal, then you might say, okay, that's pretty big, but it's pretty specific. You know, those SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Yeah, you can look up another video on that. But basically, your goal is very specific and it seems pretty big, right? But in order to get there, step 2 involves you breaking down those goals into smaller, more achievable chunks. So what you could then do is say, okay, this is a really big goal, right? What's the first thing I need to do? Okay, what are the things I need to do? Maybe in order to get me towards that 1,000 subscribers, I need to upload 10 videos at least, or 50 videos. You know, I've heard many times it being said by many YouTubers that you've got to make 50 videos or up to 50 videos, which may look crap, to be honest, but then it gets you having that repetition you need in order to help you get better. And with each video you produce, you can look at becoming one step better. Okay, so imagine we're going down the thinking of creating a YouTube channel, right? So the next thing you can think of is, okay, we've got that next step. So the steps would be to create 10 videos to start with and then maybe increase that to 50. But okay, we've got that. So we've started off with the big goal, then we've looked at a smaller goal in between, which is cool. But then we want to go even further and break it down into sub goals. So you want to start with choosing one sub goal at a time. And that sub goal is, you guessed it, your minimum viable goal. Okay, so with that minimum viable goal, you've got to take that goal, that smaller goal that you created, and make a sub goal out of it. So make that minimum viable goal. So in order to get myself achieving the 10 videos, what's the smallest goal I can start working towards that would get me towards that? And it could be literally recording one video. Just record one video, you talking to the camera. It doesn't matter whether it's great or not, just record a video and put it up there. Now you could choose to make it public or not, that's fine. But the thing is, you have started with just making a video, pressing record on your camera and just recording. Now it may seem daunting, but don't worry, you may feel like you are not the best, you don't have the best camera presence. Again, don't worry about it. The smallest minimum viable goal is for you to hit record and record a video on your camera. The next step would be to upload it to YouTube. And even when you upload it, like I said, you don't have to make it public. You can just upload the video. Okay, cool. Let's move on to step 4. So step 4 would be for you to define your criteria for success for that MVG, your minimum viable goal. Like with the last example I gave, your minimum viable goal metric for success might be simply hitting record, talking to the camera and pressing stop. You could even say you're only going to speak for 30 seconds, okay? Or maybe you want to create a video without showing your face and just have your voice behind it for 30 seconds and then upload it. That could be your minimum. That could be your minimum. Make the bar low. Set the bar low, 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 low. And so when you do that, it then means that you can get the goal achieved a lot easier because it's a small goal, right? It's not too daunting. But with that, you can then progress. The important thing is you start with a minimum viable goal, but you don't stay there. You then move on to the next goal. Or if it's a process goal, you can keep, tell yourself, okay, I need to create one video every week, or you could try recording a video a day if you're that adventurous, but don't push yourself too much. If you want one video a week, that's still fine. It kind of gets you one step closer towards your goal. Step 5 would be to take action on that minimum viable goal. And then step 6 would be to evaluate and learn from that minimum viable goal. So in the case of this YouTube channel creation thing, you might ask yourself, okay, what did I learn from creating that one video? Right? Did I think, okay, maybe I didn't look at the camera well? Should I position myself in a way that looks more engaging when I speak to the camera? Did I say a lot of ums and ahs and have a lot of pauses in my videos? What could I do about that? Would I want to edit that in post or when I come to actually editing the video? Or do I want to become better at speaking without adding any pauses or adding any ums and ahs and other filler words? You can see with each video, you can get better and better at creating videos that are more engaging and would speak to your audience better. But you see, you've got to start with that minimum viable goal. And that's the point of this video. Just have a minimum viable goal. My goal for this video was literally to put something out there and just share this knowledge that I have. I'm hoping you can apply it to something that you do in your life, whether it's a YouTube video you want to create or a candle making business like me, or something else you want to do in life. Try out adding a component of minimum viable goals and see if that gets you any further than you've already come. All right, I believe in you and I trust that you can do it. So go ahead and try something out. And if you're looking for other video or other interesting content, check out the video that's going to appear somewhere on your screen. I think about there somewhere. Go ahead and click on that. And if you're interested in a video that I did that's similar to this, you can check out the video where I talked about setting the bar low for success. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye. If you're still there, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Okay, cool. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.